Level 67.
Welcome to System.debug. We are live with level 68, work from home with tips from the experts. Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Nate. How's everybody doing?
How are you all? We are here to go over a few different things. I know everybody's got a lot going on with their shelter in place, so they're stuck at homeness. And it's caused a lot of craziness with Salesforce events being moved around and user groups being canceled and just a lot of changes happening. So we're going to give you a couple of updates about what's going on there. So first off, events. We have the Base Camp for Service is virtual. Boston World Tour, April 2nd. It's virtual. The Wealth and Asset Management in New York City, April 7th. Base Camp, that is virtual. The World Tour in Kansas City, virtual. The World Tour in Toronto was postponed. Connections, May 4th through 6th, has gone virtual. Dream Olay was moved to July 10th. We have True North Dreamin' moved to August 13th and 14th. Southeast Dreamin' moved to August 20th and 21st. Banff Dreamin' moved to November 20th. Ski Force has been canceled. Mid-Atlantic Dreamin' was postponed to an unknown date. And Kiwi Dreaming has been postponed indefinitely. Those are some of them going on right now. Nate, what do you got going on for you?
Locally, no updates, but also there is, I would say definitely look into your anything locally that may be springing up brand new. Actually, I take that back. There's something on Meetup, so it's not through the Trailblazer community groups, but I did see something for Los Angeles, a Salesforce user group through Meetup, not an officially sanctioned community group, but they're having a virtual event in the next couple of weeks.
Nice.
And I know we had started plugging virtual dreaming before any of this happened.
Absolutely.
But you can imagine that they're going to get a huge spike in signups and attendance. Actually, last night I was looking into making a curriculum for the kids, and Khan Academy's traffic has spiked 50% in the last week.
Wow.
Yeah, so they are being integrated into the lesson plan, as well as Trailhead's lemonade stand. Gonna get that going.
There are a number of trail mixes that were being made out there by the Ohana for their kids and for themselves. So definitely check out if you're looking for something the kids to do while they're in school.
Very nice.
We can get together a list of those as well. I know there's a list that Amy Oppelinger was putting together of virtual events. The Wisconsin user groups were doing some first events and Salesforce Saturdays. Seattle Women in Tech, group. We canceled our in-person event for this week, but we're looking at doing some virtual events as well. So virtual, definitely a great way to connect with people. While staying safe and without breaking any of those rules right now.
And that's Amy Oppelinger Singh.
Yes, Amy. Sorry.
At least it wasn't a complete switch out. Oh my gosh, I remember when Jillian and Leanne and oh my gosh, not Kendall, but when all of them got married, it's like, oh wait, no, now I need to remember different last name. Yeah, congratulations, Amy. I think that was recent. Let's see. So we've gone over virtual meetup stuffs.
Correct.
Oh, certification news. Yeah. Why don't you actually? So you cover the you know, the updates on maintenance exams, et cetera. And I'm going to look up an update on partner tiers, et cetera, that have to do with certifications and certification levels.
Yeah. So one thing that Salesforce is doing right now is they have put certification maintenance. They are granting you a grace on that for this maintenance time. You don't actually have to take your maintenance exams, but highly recommend that you still do. We've got all this extra time being tracked inside, y'all. So I mean, why not do it? You know, we're stuck home. Still worth taking this exam, although you don't have to. Still recommend. Great way to stay up on your current release and just to make sure that you're staying current on those release notes and keeping your skills up, even though it's not absolutely required. It also gives you something to do and to grab an extra trailhead badge. Everybody likes badge, so why not do it?
And badges don't
absolutely.
expire. And badges don't need
expire.
maintenance. Yes.
One other thing regarding certifications is a large number, if not all, of the testing centers have closed. So if you have an in-person exam, definitely check on that. I know a number of people have received emails to let them know their test centers have closed. So double check. Don't just show up and it's going to be open. Those are at schools or other locations that can no longer be open now. Also, lots of rules about how many people can be in the same locations. Set that out before you just go and show off that going out situation. Stay sheltering in place if you can. In other news, for more stuff that's going on, so in addition to those events that are happening, and mentioned the fact that there are a lot of trail mixes out there for people to be working on for their kids, mixes that people are together for themselves. And for others to work on certifications. People are time to work on leveling up, getting more badges, working on new skills while they're trapped at home. So definitely things to be working and be productive while working on your Salesforce, learning those skills via Trailhead, via other step-by-step events, step-by-step learning options. Keep doing any of the workbooks that you find available. And keep working on those skills that you have and trying to expand your knowledge so that you can keep learning. We have this opportunity to increasing our skills and be trapped in home with ourselves. So definitely keep doing that. And Nate, did you find your stuff about your partner stuff before we jump into working from home?
I did, yeah. I wanted to find at least a reference to the actual site, the announcement, which can't I just post that right here? First comment of the day. I can't use a web address. That's okay. Ooh, I've got an idea. Let's do this. Partners.salesforce.com. Yes. Okay, that worked. So partners.salesforce.com to that link. We'll post that in the description. But essentially, from the site, some of the credentials that count as either an expert credential or professional credential have changed. And this is for the consulting partner program. One of the things that should affect people the most is that Platform Developer 1 exam, if you have that credential, that is an associate credential, not a professional credential. Meaning, if you've passed your Platform Developer 2 exam, you do not have your credential yet. You need to complete, if my memory serves me right and it hasn't changed, 3 super badges. Do you have PD2 yet, Meg?
I do not have PD2. I just have
stuck
PD1.
on Aura Component Specialist, right? Yeah, I completed, I think it's the Lightning, the Lex rollout super badge and the Lightning developer super badge, which takes you through basic Aura components. But then those are 2 prerequisites for the Aura Component Specialist super badge, which is where you make the Friends with Boats app. You do need to walk through that to officially have the credential and not just have passed the exam.
Gotcha.
I'm not even sure if you need to maintain the exam until you do the super badges to get credentialed as that. But
Definitely check on that before taking that as gospel though.
Safe
Yeah,
harbor. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And I think there have been some tweaks to the seat, so that for the certified technical architect pyramid, where we got one side of that as a application engineer and the other as a system engineer.
No,
Right?
no, the pyramid does not involve PD2 at all.
Correct, it does not. There may have been some tweaks on that. So if you were road mapping to architect, just double check those. We'll put the link in the description
Awesome.
to any of that. Yep.
Excellent.
Right.
Any other big certification changes or items to check into? Our partner status.
No, just crank on it if you have the time and you're not stuck at home juggling daycare. If you actually got some quiet time at home, crank on it, and really, not only walk through tutorials and Trailhead and do what's instructed, but spin up a Scratch org or a developer org and actually play with it. I mean, I don't know if you agree, Meg, but I think that teaches you more than anything, because then you ask yourself questions like, oh, how do I do this? And can I make 2 master lookups on a child record? Can I make 3? What does it say? So, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm definitely a hands-on learner and big on getting in there myself and actually touching things. So yeah, it's not all about the reading for me. It's about the playing with it.
Yep. And creating things and breaking things and trying
I
and
love
fixing
breaking
things.
stuff.
Exactly.
I got a gold star breaking.
Friday, I was doing a big, what was it? We were taking a table and it had been paginated. It had been sorted, and now we were doing type ahead filtering. And I got to a point where I went, oh, I broke everything. That's okay. I'm still going to commit and push because I'll get out of this. It's the
Nice.
Indiana Jones step of faith. And yeah, within, what was it? Oh, V dot. I think I forgot a V dot somewhere.
There you go.
Yeah, of course. So.
So to jump a little bit into our topic, working from home. So Nate, how long have you been working from home?
Wow. So my current position since May 8th, 2018, I only go to Philadelphia area 1 week in June and 1 week in December for co-working. And so at my current position, I work from home 100% of the time, and it's been almost 2 years.
Okay.
But I've been working from home off and on ever since 2012, like June of 2012.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
How about you, Megs?
I started working from home on and off back in 2008. But I have been working from home. My company right now is based out of Detroit. Their projects are all over the US. Yeah, I mean, I've been steady working from home over 5 years now. So I love it, let me tell you, but it took some discipline to get used to it. I had to set in place rules for myself about when do I stop work, what time do I do house stuff versus when do I do work stuff, making sure that I have a separate area to work than everything else so that I have those boundaries for myself. And then I know, this is where I do my Salesforce. This is where I do my living. And setting apart those boundaries really helped me at least keep myself from stepping out of work and going into regular day, so that I could really stay focused. And that was important. The last thing you want to do is get sidetracked and all of a sudden leave your day and start doing something else and then have to make it up later. So for me, it was about setting those boundaries. But the biggest problem I would have to say that I have is when to stop my day. And that is just all about, putting that on yourself, having something in place for you, and, coming up with a system for yourself. And you've just got to be self-disciplined there. One of the other things for me is I live in an apartment building instead of a house, because I live downtown. Houses just don't really exist there in the city. Being a Seattleite, it's just one of those things where you don't have a house in the middle of downtown Seattle. So another thing I do is I'm on a lot of conference calls throughout the day. So whenever I'm done talking, I got to put myself on mute so you don't hear my neighbors, or the lawn care people that come by, or the buses, or the ambulance and fire truck, because I live right across the bridge from a hospital. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember when I was working for a company out of San Francisco. I mean, it was louder there than it was
yep,
at a Starbucks sometimes. So
absolutely,
um,
yeah,
good. Well, yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I learned when I started. I mean, the first day I worked from home, I remember it clearly. Like I went to Austin for a week for onboarding, and then that first Monday, I went to Santa Monica to a Coffee Bean and worked for 3 or 4 hours, had lunch, worked for 3 more hours, and then went home. And that's because I think I work better around some noise than
yeah,
silence. It kills me to just have dead silence. And then there'll be times where I turn on my, I'll turn on my speaker and I'm about to go put something on
yep.
Spotify and I get caught up and it's 2 hours later and I realize I haven't put on a single song. It's too much work.
So there are cut. I definitely play music while I'm working and like when I'm in the zone. I know other people, they can't listen to music because they get caught up on the words and caught up on the songs, or they get distracted. So I actually had one developer that told me they listened to a clip that is the Starship Enterprise sounds, and so it's just like white noise. And they sent me a clip that was like 4 hours of the Starship Enterprise sounds, and they listened to that on a loop.
Wow. I
Yeah,
mean, when I'm worried about lyrics, and also you don't want to manage, like, I just want something to play. I don't want to have to
right,
be DJ. I just want to put something on. I don't want to
exactly.
say like, hmm, wake word, play this song, and then it plays the song, and then it's done, and you don't have time to go put on more songs. I really found that 10-hour playlist on YouTube really saved the day. Like 10 hour
Yeah.
sexy sax man. Um, all,
Nice.
all the 10 hours playlists, or to be honest, like you can find melodic gaming mix, or there's tons of stuff now where it's
Absolutely.
just endless, hopefully ad free stuff that you can just listen to. There's nothing worse than listening to your Zen meditation channel and hearing a Farmer's John commercial come on.
I hear you.
Or Goico.
Right? Yeah. No, this can be extremely distracting and they can break up your flow. So
Yeah.
definitely have something for yourself. Nice playlist. So that's why you say my Pandora. I actually just recently got rid of it because I was paying for Pandora, but I was also paying for YouTube without ads. And I stopped listening to Pandora because I'd made the perfect playlist on YouTube, because I also like to watch videos sometimes. It was like, I just blew off my Pandora. I stopped it. But yeah, now I've just got the perfect thing.
So what's been your experience with like, have you ever tried to listen to um like a Dreamforce video or listen to any sort of educational stuff while you're working?
So, I have tried to listen to educational stuff while I'm working, but the problem is either I end up not hearing any of it or not paying attention to any of it, or I end up sitting there and I start looking through videos. So either I get nothing out of it or I get distracted. So I find webinars something difficult to use as background noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I Los Angeles Public Library card holders get a free lynda.com account.
Nice.
So there's definitely, like, yeah, if I'm listening to a using Salesforce DX, like Dreamforce video, I'm going to hear something and be like, oh, wait, let me open up terminal. Let me like do some of this stuff.
Right.
And if I'm doing that, if I'm like just stuck on the other desktop, that's great. But if I'm doing Apex and just need to figure out a problem, that can be problematic. But I
Right.
have, there's plenty of stuff that they have on Lynda and plenty of others, right? Pluralsight, Treehouse, etc., where it's just intro to CSS, intro to HTML5. That it's not essential for me, but I really feel like as a developer in general, like you don't get a lot of that when it's focused on Salesforce only stuff, right? You can
Right.
get by with a lot of stuff, and like, sure, I know kebab case and I know how to use some SLDS stuff, but I don't know how to center something, or, you know, select and click the center button on Google Docs.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff, I may not absorb a lot, but I don't feel bad if I look back and I go, yeah, I need to go 3 videos back, but it's
Right.
absorbing,
There you go.
subconsciously over the course of the day.
Nice.
How about meetings? Because I mean, people that weren't working from home before are getting
So
to that.
that's where I mentioned the fact that if I'm not speaking, I go on mute. As soon as I'm done talking, I go on mute. I'm also not very big on my camera in meetings. But one thing I end up doing is, because I am on the West Coast and my company is on the East Coast, is I often go directly to my laptop right when I wake up. I do not have like a break in between. And then I'll tell my team, all right, I'm gonna go brush my teeth and grab something to drink and make my coffee. I'll be right here. And so I end up switching back over. But I don't always get ready. So then it'll be after a couple of meetings that I go and I get ready, and then I'll be like, okay, now I can do camera, everybody. But the longer that we end up spending time, trapped in our homes and further away from people, I think the more and more people are going to be doing video. But one thing that I'm big on for meetings, make sure that you are on mute if you're not talking. Nobody wants to hear the background sound. It's not just me, it's everybody. In addition, make sure you're paying attention. Don't be working on something else and make everybody have to repeat because everybody else was paying attention. Make sure you're staying in that meeting. Make sure you're staying focused. I mean, that's what you're there for. And everybody else is just trying to do their job, and we're all just trying to get through this together. And so that's staying focused, that paying attention. That's also going to help you pass the time too.
Absolutely. And to get to know, even if it doesn't directly affect what you're working on, like for instance, in stand up, right? Everybody goes through what they're working on, even if it's a different client or something that you're not touching at all. It's just nice to know like what product, like, oh, I didn't know we were doing a marketing cloud SMS alert for this one instance.
Exactly.
It lets you know like what products your company is actually touching, and if you're interested in getting into financial services cloud or CPQ or something, then you'll at least know, oh, hey, like this person is working on that. Maybe I can ping them on if they ever need any extra help or how to get started in it, what trailhead to start. Shoot, what was I also going to say? Yeah, and don't be distracted, because just like a in-person meeting, if you're on your phone, you get the bad looks, and especially now with the inability to meet in person, this is it. And it's hard
Yeah,
enough as it is, being lag or lack of body language, etc.
absolutely. No, Nate, this was all really good information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
hope you all found it useful.
One
Yeah,
one last thing I wanted to touch on that I dealt with last week was, I know we use Skype, not Skype for business, but just Skype
yeah,
for communication, just pinging people, very email low. We don't use
we're,
Chatter as
we're a
much.
Slack house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I know that's, does Slack offer like the ability to show or hide read receipts?
yeah, you can see if somebody's seen it.
Yes. So I
I
know that
think. I think.
yeah,
Uh,
on Skype, there's an
maybe.
option to not send read receipts, and I can understand that for your text messages, but
Yeah.
especially in these times where, and I'm West Coast for East Coast clients too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I roll out of bed and do my first hour or two of work in my robe and slippers, and then actually start waking up and being a real person.
Well, now I'm
Um,
gonna have to look into whether or not Slack can do read receipts, because
yeah,
now I wonder. Yeah, because I see
make
people typing, so now I want to know if it does read receipts.
exactly, like I would say make sure you have that on, especially when you're not in the same office and you may be on different time zones. So even though it's 10 a.m., like it's lunchtime on the East Coast maybe, it's nice
Right.
to know if they read it or not, so that like, oh cool, they haven't read it, I can work on something else, maybe ping somebody else, etc. That's been really
Absolutely.
important during these work from home times.
Good point. Good point. All right. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. And then you can follow us on Twitter as well. I'm Megan SF. And then you have,
And I'm S-Force be with you, all spelled out. And there's
nice.
here's little S-Force be with you.
Little S supposed to be with you.
Oh, wait, here.
And then we also have the infamous RJ, and at Adam Dwa. And until next time, everybody, thanks so much.